U.S. Women's Open. Good luck, ladies.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Plano Super Bowl, site of the 2017 U.S. Women's Open. By BPAA, USBC, thanks to all of our sponsors on the PWBA Tour, Smithfield, Nationwide, GoBowling.com, Pepsi, and Cubica AMF. This is round 2 of match play. 24 players, 8 games already complete. Round 1 match play last night. The top 24 players advancing after an additional 8 games Friday morning. So again, good morning. My name is Emil Williams Jr. Appreciate you being here. As we begin things, round number 2. Today is the day, folks. We'll have our top 5 televised stepladder finalists. These final 2 rounds, 16 games to determine who those 5 players will be. Jody Wessner, your tournament leader. After bowling so well throughout the tournament. Not that it matters any, but finally kind of going to sleep. As Matt Cannizzaro elegantly put it in the story last night, able to go to bed as the tournament leader at the U.S. Women's Open. In second, that young lady that got the 7-10 to fall, Daria Pajon from Poland, already a PWBA champion this season. Talking about making the most of your first year on tour. She's battled the ups and downs, and she's certainly on the up and up right now. Having the highest block of all the match play finalists yesterday, shooting 19-10 for 8 games. Julia Bond, her opponent, ironically, had the second highest block last night. Julia, the senior to be at Nebraska and the U.S. Amateur Champion in 2017, Team USA member, shot 19.07. And Bond, at the moment, 18 pins back of 5th place. Your top 5, Jody Wessner, Daria Pajon, Liz Johnson, of course, the 3-time defending champion, and your 2-time reigning PWBA Player of the Year. She is in 3rd, Erin McCarthy in 4th, and Shannon O'Keefe is in 5th. Sure to check out pwba.com/live for your updated standing results. You can also check out bowl.com/US Women's Open. Appreciate everyone joining us this morning. Of course, the Live Now post is up and available on Facebook. We've had a lot of good traction there this week. We're able to kind of join in on particular conversations. Big thanks to all of our guests who've joined us so far this week as well. Yesterday, Brandy Branca joined us for the entire match play round. Did a Q&A with her late. Big thanks to Erin Smith. Smitty had match play round number 1 on lock with Brandy. Joining us earlier yesterday, Christy Rosberg talked with us as well. Other guests we've had this week, Anthony Simonson, John Zerbinski, KD Sutphin, Shannon O'Keefe. And we look forward to having a couple more for you as the day progresses. All right, so Clara Guerrero and Shannon O'Keefe. A pretty close match here to start things. And 24 games, round robin match play. Someone had a question yesterday about pins following the players. Absolutely they do. Total pin fall at the end of 56 games, including bonus pins here. There is bonus, 30 pins for a win, 15 for a tie, 0 pins for a loss. I'm also going to attempt to remember to look at my own personal social media account, specifically Twitter. A lot of people tend to say hello while they're watching, and I never have my own Twitter account open. So I apologize if I missed you guys. I'm sorry. All right, 9th frame between Payonk and Julia Bond. Very good match between Ashley Galante and Sandra Gongora to open things up. This is the fresh as well, folks. Good to point that out. I had the fresh this morning. This afternoon's round will be on the burn. Great match again between Gongora and Poss, if necessary, or if we can, I should say, if time allows and permits. Try to give you a little bit of that match. Strike there for Payonk in the 9th, but Bond is in control. Shot there for Julia. Julia Bond. Won U20 junior gold in 2013, and it's kind of been off to the races for her since then. Became a very well-known name, but she's someone who puts in the work, puts in a lot of time and effort. First shot in the 10th. It's a good carry. Couple of very strong coaches. Personally, when she's at home, William Clark. At school, Coach Bill Straw. O'Keefe to the strike in the 9th. Guerrero leaves a 10 pin. And now all kinds of possibilities here in that match. Bond off to a good start here. She's going to be in the 240s. 006.5. Pretty cool to have the last name Bond. Not quite 007. And that's just mainly from a height perspective. So we'll go with 006.5. Nicely done. 246 to open. Sandra Gongora shoots 269. And Ashley Galante could shoot 258 and lose. So we are off and running here this morning at the U.S. Women's Open. Important shot for Guerrero. Strike and she will win the match. Anything less and O'Keefe will have the opportunity to tie or win. And that's a W for Clara. Speaking of Ashley Galante, she shot 300 this week already. During my time on tour, I would undoubtedly say, in my opinion, and I'd ask her to get clarification, but this is the best tournament that I've seen her personally bowl at this level. She has been very good for a very long time as a youth player and as a collegiate player. Payonk. And we'll start with, at worst, 189. She'll lose some sticks, no bonus, and maybe lose the spot in second place. This has turned into, we knew it was going to be fun anyway. But when you have a few extra strikes to play around with, the fun level, to me, goes up. Everyone likes to see a few strikes. But it's been, from a fan perspective, well attended here. You expect nothing less here from Plano Super Bowl and the area. Jamie Brooks, the proprietor, the renovations, everything that has been done here to make what a center, or great center already was, even better. We appreciate that. .246 to 190. The official tally. Bond over Payonk. 235 to 225. Guerrero defeats O'Keefe. And game number 1 is in the books here in round number 2. We'll await our next competitors. Gives us a quick time to break very briefly. So if you are up on your Saturday morning, having a little breakfast, coffee, hopefully some fresh fruit. You need some nutritional value. You got the newspaper out. That's what I'd be doing, along with Extra Frame. We appreciate it. Back in a moment. 2017 U.S. Women's Open. This is Bowl TV on Extra Frame. right, game 2. Katelyn Johnson with the front 5 to start. Taking on Clara Guerrero, who got a win early this round against Shannon O'Keefe. Julia Bond, now Nicole Trudell locked in a close race here. 1 pin advantage for Trudell through 5. All right, Clara. This right lane, far given a little trouble at the early open on this lane. Valerie Bercier taking on Danielle McEwen. And McEwen has gone 7-2, 7-2. Couple splits, 9 spare strike. Bercier, strike spare double. A pair to our right, and now Julia Bond responds. Nicole Trudell in cybersecurity. She can throw the bowling ball, folks. For Sacred Heart University. Standout, All-American. Trudell has responded with a double. Kaitlyn Johnson has the front 6. Julia Bond remaining just 1 pin back. Front 7 for Kaitlyn Johnson. The youthful player, Kaitlyn Johnson and Julia Bond, the youngest players in the field. And we'll go Kaitlyn Johnson, Bond, and I believe Giselle Poss. As Poss just graduated from Vanderbilt this year. Bond to be a senior at Nebraska, and Kaitlyn Johnson to be a sophomore at Weber. Of course, that doesn't mean that you're young if you're whatever grade or school year you're going to. We certainly have seen players start their collegiate careers later in their season, but I do know for a fact that that is not the case with those players I just mentioned. And I think after that, Nicole Trudell would be fourth in regards to youngest players in the field. Daria Payok would be close as well. I believe she just turned 24. Have to check that out. Important spare here for Bond, and she covers. Clara trying to figure some things out here. The right lane continues to be troublesome. I know we have some comments in Facebook land. I'll be turning my attentions that way momentarily. Trudell, nice shot. Take a look at the standings also. Again, pwba.com/live. Shannon O'Keefe, spare six-bagger. She's taking on Brittany Smith. Both of those players have 300s in the tournament this week. Clara, well, she gets some help on the 10. It wiggles, rolls, but no. Impressive stuff for Nicole Trudell. All right, Julia Bond in the 9th frame with a strike. Here is Katelyn Johnson with the front 8. 10 back. Just kind of floats it through the heads at release. It just very, very impressive what she has been doing here. Front 9. We've had 2 300 games. If I'm not mistaken, definitely on extra frame, but I believe on 23 and 24. Might be a pretty cool video. Ever so slightly getting a chance to see I guess maybe it's not that cool. You see Jason Thomas in the shot. Be able to bring you a different view here of Katelyn Johnson's 300 opportunity. Very good shots here by Clara Guerrero. In that left lane, or excuse me, the right lane. Could really get anything going. Just the second double in the match for Clara. Meanwhile, Julia Bond finished with 234. Nicole Trudell already with one in the 10th. How about another? And Nicole Trudell coming out strong here. After one game, Liz Johnson is back on top. Shot 258, got the W. She's at plus 1352. Wessner in second. Shot 199 and lost at plus 1296. Daria Payok in third at plus 1267. Bond into the top four. She is fourth, 7-2 overall. She'll take the loss here, however. Erin McCarthy in fifth. Nicole Trudell is in 14th, but might be looking to make a run. 279 for Nicole Trudell. Excellent job, and now we go to Katelyn Johnson. Bonus coverage brought to you by Jason Thomas. There's the deep breath. You see it right there. Good shot of the lane. First shot of the 10th. And get some love on the 7-pin. 10 in a row for Johnson. Katelyn anchored in the Weber squad at ITCs. Originally from Beaumont, Texas, I believe, now living in North Carolina from what I understand. Crowd brewing, phones snapping. 11th shot. One more time. Get some solid pin carry there. High on the head pin. All right, 12th shot. All right, 298 for Katelyn Johnson. Should she like to have that shot back? But 298 in a win, I think she'll be okay. Nicely done. And we are on to game 3. All right, folks, let us take a look at Facebook. All right, who we got today? We have, we have several people who said that extra frame is not working. Well, first of all, that's not good. There was, someone did point out last night that there was it just kind of went away briefly. And but from what I'm watching, I've been watching all morning. I am using Google Chrome. I'm going to just bring up every browser to see how we can help you. Appreciate everyone kind of helping each other out there. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what we need. Good collaboration. Don has reset his browser and done everything. I see a couple people have done that as well. Well, if everyone else is having that issue, maybe we can pass that along to those who handle those type of things and see what we can do. Hello to Margaret. Margaret getting ready to bowl a tournament. I was going to say, Margaret, you're in Augusta today. How about that? Well, good luck today, Margaret. Bowl well. Adrian Joe says, good luck, Boomer. Get him from the Cloverleaf Bowl game. How about that? Spent some time down in, if you're talking about NorCal, in the Bay Area. Always enjoy watching. Or my time there, excuse me. But today, Adrian watching from Mexico. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Sal, good morning. Judy. Why haven't they... No results from last night's match play. Judy, the scores have been updated. There was a story about it, so let me know what you mean. Hello, Brian. Valerie is indeed hanging in there. Michael Savage. Thanks, Mike. I couldn't remember which one it was. I knew it was both pair, but I just couldn't quite remember. Good morning to Troy from SoCal. And Don, we'll see if we can get you done there, Don. I see some folks, again, talking about that. So, Patrick, how are you? And, okay. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Of course, drop your comments. And then for those who are still having some issues, please let me know. And I will try to pass those issues along to the correct people. Game 3 underway. And we are joined now by Chris Barnes. Chris has joined us a couple times throughout the week. And we appreciate his insights and commentary, as always, as he almost chokes. How you doing, sir?
Good morning, Mr. Williams, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. So, there supports our 900 global staffer. She's having quite the week.
She is. And I'm going to start with a question. Why is that?
Why is that? Well, this has been coming for a while. She led the Queens last year and a half ago, and that was the first time that I'd known about her. And then watched her on the Weber show, and her and Verity. I'm like, holy, wow. And but there were some inconsistencies in footwork and some other things, but we had a very frank discussion. Like, you can be one of the best players. You know, that release combined with some, you're willing to put in some work, right. You can become one of the best players out here, and she's put in the work. And Ruben down there at Kegel is we've kind of everybody's collaborated, so we're talking about the same things when when she's out here. What we see is passed to him. He works on those things, and stuff he's working on there, he's passing to us, and so it's been a very collaborative effort, so that the messages stay the same, and so she just keeps getting better and better. And obviously, with the rev rate, you would expect her chances to be a little better when the scores move up a little bit. But the fact she won in Detroit on a really tough pattern, I think that was probably the confidence boost in the mental proof that she needed, that she can bowl on whatever they're going to see out here.
Talking with Chris Barnes, he's representative of 900 Global, a future Hall of Famer in his own right, certainly. Daria Payong taking on Brittany Smith, two players that have shot 300 again, and Shannon O'Keefe taking on Brianna Cote.
There's some great matches here. And Brittany's had a very nice week, and maybe not everyone knows about her, but
well, they should.
Yeah,
pretty soon.
Sooner or later,
she just
you're
missed
going
the
to
show
find out. Yeah,
at
exactly.
At the Players Championship.
150 back on the edge of. Or no, I should see that was 120 back. Sorry, before last game. I don't know what she shot. It was down there, but
still gathering, I think, the final scores from Game 2. So we should have our new update pretty soon, but
it'll be a little interesting today.
Yeah.
So you don't have as much traffic. You don't have the fours pulling in front like you did the threes and fours of qualifying. So you have less breakdown. You're going to have, but what we've seen already, it looks like there's more friction in the front, which makes the back play a little tighter. So depending on what you like to do, if you roll it a lot, a player like Verity is seeing more friction in the front of the lane. Somebody like Daria is also seeing a little bit of that, but the back end's playing a little tighter for her. So going to have to do things a little bit differently. Probably not going to be the same ball doing the same things as yesterday without softening up or creating a little more axis rotation. I think Erin McCarthy's going to have a nice run today.
She's had obviously a good week. Anyone who's at this point has certainly had a good week, but she's put together some very strong blocks individually that have kind of helped separate her from the field at the time, and she's still obviously in the top 5 now.
And I think what she's doing, where she's using a little bit shinier ball than most players, her ability to be a little bit softer naturally and create down lane motion without having surface to do it, I think that's going to play in her favor as the day continues to go on. So by pure matchup and her shot making, she's been bowling really well here as of late. So I do think she will be a player to watch today. And obviously I'm a Daria fan. I don't think she's going to struggle. This is still her earliest rolling ball, and she's not struggling with field. You can see it picking up sooner than yesterday, but you can play the control game and control the pocket when you have the most power.
Yeah, she mentioned last night, she had the highest block of match play at 19-10. And she said she felt very accomplished in the sense that she shot 300 in the cashier's round, but was doing it, being able to play right with a ball that was very controllable, able to change her axis and some things that weren't in her A game that she's now able to do. Is that kind of some of the things that you talked about early on when we first got on about some of the things you guys have collaborated on?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it was footwork and consistency of footwork, and some of those things, she had an issue with some footwork that then her swing would follow it, and so it made her not as good a shot maker as she's become, and it made her spare shooting get in the way too at times, and so her hand can save a lot of those shots on the first ball, but when your footwork's inconsistent, you will not be a good spare shooter, and it's, generally speaking, that's
a good no for everybody.
Yeah, if your footwork's straight, your swing will be straight, and if it's inconsistent, then your swing's going to be inconsistent, and there's nothing to save it when you're throwing the ball straight. And it's improved tremendously. Her spare shooting is, she's a good spare shooter now, and that's her. And so that in itself has made her a factor because she can always throw strikes.
She is back in second at the moment. Our 42-game update is in. And 6 in a row for Payonk. Daria has created many fans over the course of, I would say, the season for sure, but definitely since her win. She's introduced to a different audience on national television. Not that she wasn't obviously at Weber, because she was, but the PWBA audience in a sense.
Yeah, it's all a different level, and it's just, collegiate famous, and that was kind of a coming out party, and I anticipate a lot more of that to come. She continues to work at it. She's still got things she can improve on, but she's already pretty good at keeping her angles closed, which most higher rev rate players are not. Keeps adding speed adjustments and some of these other things, and so that she can do the in-between things. And yesterday was a great example of, she bowled the same block in the morning and night. She was 310 over in the morning, she's 310 over at night, and went through some transitions, and she was able to navigate them and do the small things and do the adjustments, and ball changes at the correct time. And of course we have Steve Jacobs out here, and he's doing a great job with her as well, but the learning process just keeps getting accelerated. The more finals you can make in a big tournament like this, the faster that happens.
Cote on a 3-bagger.
She had a nice run the last month or so after a brutal first 6 or 8 weeks of the year.
Yeah,
basically
she made a change in drop weight as far as bowling balls are concerned, 15 to 14 pounds, and she said that has certainly made a difference. Felt like she's been able to just to get a little bit more, down lane motion with that. Thought about it at the Queens, didn't really go through with it. Bowled Wichita, didn't have the good results, and took the week off the next week, practiced with the bowling balls, and has since have gradually improved during her season.
Well, and I think it helped too. The patterns were very, very challenging the first 6 or 8 weeks, and then you went to Florida, and you had a little shape one week, and players got to loosen up just a little bit and kind of unlock the swings and get back into a little rhythm and flow and feel like they could strike. And that carried on obviously through the next month. There's been talk about this being so high scoring. Well, it's not that actually high. I mean, same pattern we bowled, they're actually averaging a little more than the guys hit on basically a very, very similar pattern, if not the same pattern.
Are you referring to Garland?
No, I'm the men's US Open at South Point.
Okay, this past year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
everyone has mentioned Garland when they kind of compare this pattern to something. No one has. You're the first person that's mentioned last year.
Yeah, I actually think the one we bowled in last, was it October or November? I believe the patterns are, I'd have to go up and look at them exactly, but I think they're very, very similar. And so this is a little bit higher friction place. The track, they broke down differently, and of course they will just because of the players as well. Bad luck there, really. It was high, didn't deserve a strike, but it didn't have to be a 410. That looked more like a 4-pin shot.
Shannon trying to find something here.
Yeah.
3-bagger split.
Struggling just a little bit with rhythm and getting comfortable. Again, not the ball hooking just a little bit earlier, not leaving players quiet as comfortable getting the ball through the pins, and so they're starting to manipulate, trying to figure out how to match it up, especially these first couple games when the lanes change a lot. Only game 3 though, so this is kind of when things should settle in. The pattern should settle in. The players kind of get a feel for what's going on front to back, and Miss O'Keefe has plenty of options at her disposal, so I anticipate her getting that figured out pretty quickly.
What's actually, in your opinion, what makes Brittany Smith so good? Her role looks kind of different than a lot of other players.
She gets there, and she's not a huge stature, but she creates a lot of power, and with that power, she creates a lot of it with shoulder turn, which in turn actually creates more axis rotation than a lot of other players. Another player who happens to be pretty good at that to be Weber. So, you know, outside that upper body movement, her lower body though is very, very solid. She posts up a lot of shots, and she hits her target a lot. The tough part when you have that much upper body motion is really hitting your target a lot, and she repeats that very well. And so, you see how far leaned over she is to the right as well. So that, which is what, when you see different players that follow through left of their head, the ball is still up underneath their shoulder. Their shoulder just have, their head is actually upper body tilt from, I said, from near left to right. Just gets far enough over that the straight follow through goes through and it actually ends up on the other side of their head.
Chris Barnes breaking down what he sees on the lanes, talking about, of course, Daria Payok, one of the players on staff, and Brittany Smith there, unforced error in the 10th, and Payuk now has a chance to take back this match.
Yeah, that changes things considerably, where she should have shot 240 there and would have made Daria throw at least the first one here in the 10th. Now essentially needs to mark. No guarantee though, off to the front 7, and her one semi-errant shot looked like the ball picked up on both lanes for her. She actually tripped the 4 on the left lane as well. So the key here is she moves left is to not throw it firmer at the same time. Make one or the other move. And
right on that right lane. Wow.
That lane has been a lane that's been tighter all week. There is a panel down there. The second or third panel has a little push spot, so once you get away from the front, it can get pretty long.
Shot there from Cote, doubles in the 10th after the bucket make in the 9th. So she's in the 240s with good count. So simple here, spare to win game number 3. Is this game 3?
Game 3. Daria's going to need the spare.
That's online.
Oh.
How about that? Well, need a couple pins. Cote tries something on the fill. Brittany Smith had this one not all but wrapped up, but an open in the 10 certainly doesn't
gonna
help.
have to go walk around a little bit. I think this is going to move to the track maybe a little bit sooner than it did yesterday. Seeing there, she got a little softer move to the left. I think she's going to end up playing the house characteristic. And the players that do that, I think, are going to start bowling a little better a little sooner. And that front hooks a little bit more, and they get a little tighter down lane. The angles get closed down. You have a little less right. In this place where there, this is such a successful center, there is a lot of lineage in this place between 8th, 9th board and the 13th, 14th board. And so right now everybody's just on the right edge of that. And when they can go away from it, they don't see it.
It's really interesting to me that those are the items that you have to keep in your back pocket if you know it. I mean, obviously everyone's doesn't know all of that. O'Keefe, this shot looks like she made a ball change.
And she's been able to stay right at that. A player who she's got all the tools, but she can create a lot of axis rotation and get the ball clean through the front. Use bigger balls. They will slow down and even out some of the inconsistencies pair to pair, or the cliffs, as you say, where players gang up on one spot. And that will be the trick, is can she stay there like she did yesterday when she made a big run, or is she going to have to get slower and move in to 12, 13, 14?
All right, our 2 matches here done.
It's been a long time since I was on the upper end of the power side of things, but I'd always prefer to be a little left of the field and away from the traffic if possible.
One match going to our right. Give you a little bit of that as Jenny Wagner finishing up, just left the 210. taking on Giselle Poss, but she's
Again,
got the match in hand.
just seeing more of that, where it's not that hard to go by it. They miss that little friction in the front. The friction in the front pushes them left, but once they get past the front, then it doesn't want to hook, and then you move back right, and then you get the high light thing. And so I think less surface and softer speed is probably going to be a big key, which is why I think Erin will have a chance to make a pretty good run today.
Well, I look forward to not only the rest of this block, but then how everything transitions for the burn later, because obviously, as you well know, what happens now will affect the latter 8 games, and with everything on the line at that point, as obviously you well know, of course, too.
Yeah. Up till today, everything's been built around. In my mind, I was always trying to chase whoever was up at the top. I wanted to run them down, and I wanted to make, like with 2 blocks to go, how many people can I get 200 pins or more behind me? 100 pins per block. It's hard to catch up more than that. If you bowl okay, then, I mean, obviously you still have to bowl good. If you bowl bad, that's on you.
Right.
There's nothing to say to that, but you eliminated the monster block.
Right.
Catching the right people, winning all the games, that kind of stuff. We're 3 extra wins in a block because the luck factor, basically. You take that out of play. So I want to be, like last night if I was Daria, how many people could I get 200 pins behind me? And she actually got the top 12 were the only ones within 300. So now you've eliminated some chasers. Now if you show up and bowl relatively well, and you build in mistake room. She shot 190 the first game. Didn't drop her out of the show or anything crazy where anxiety starts falling up on you and creates a lot of extra tension. You can go, okay, you look around, all right, Shannon shot 2-0, she didn't land, I'm okay here. I'm still in the top 2 or 3. Well, it's a good game, back up in second.
Well, there you
It's
have
not
it.
a big deal. So you're buying mistake room so you don't feel like you have to be perfect. And I think it's more important when you're a young player without as much experience that you believe that you don't have to be perfect to make a show. In the beginning, when you constantly get beat every week at the beginning, you feel like you have to bowl better than you've ever bowled to make it. And that just brings on more tension and most of the time more bad shots trying to be perfect.
Heard it right here, folks. The man himself, Chris Barnes, joining us in the booth. Daria moves on over to 27 and 28. So we'll be able to catch a few frames of that match. She's taking on Shannon O'Keefe. 2-8-10 early, and she gets the count while we await our featured pairs to be filled with Giselle Poss and Sandra Gungor.
It's a little early to be a huge match with 12 games to go, but 13, I guess. But nonetheless, these are 2 of your top 5, so it could have some. It's basically a 60-pin match. Adjust the camera just a little bit here and get a little look at it. Good start by Shannon. She's been making some adjustments and fooling around from ball to ball here for a little while, so I would anticipate she's going to lock in on the right combination here pretty soon, and it might be just right now. That's a good sign for her. That was just a little bit right. She wasn't sure if that was going to make it or not, and it made it no problem. So, like a lot of great players, there is a different walk when they get the look going a little bit, and that was the confident, oh, I got away with one a little bit. I think I finally have them. I think I'm getting it dialed in a little better now. So, of course, Daria, who I think she thought she threw that one pretty good. She will get a little quick from time to time. And that one 210. So see, that's the biggest of the power advantage right there. Half pocket, a flat 10 for most of the field. Not so much for her. Just watch Robert Smith once upon a time do that to all of us.
He was pretty good.
Yeah,
he still is.
yeah, if his back was healthy all the time, he'd still be a mess to handle. So, on the women's tour, Michelle Feldman kind of filled this role for several years as the power player. Cheryl Daniels before that, and Tammy Turner. And power's never been a disadvantage. Nikki G even before then. So, it's a pretty good move. That's a move, and then she was a little better with her rhythm.
This is Game 4, if you're just joining us. 2017 U.S. Women's Open from Plano Super Bowl in Plano, Texas. Emil Williams Jr. with Chris Barnes at the moment. How many players did you guys have staff competing this week?
With free agents that throw some of our stuff, I think we had 7 or 8 maybe. It's not a big staff. We want to make sure we plenty of attention to everyone. Play the game a little differently. People on our staff are throwing it because they like, they really love the equipment. It's not because they're getting a huge paycheck. And we're trying to grow stars both on the men's and the women's tour. So Linda and I are the experienced players, let's just call it, on the team. And our role in a lot of ways is to help bring that along. You saw guys like Zeke Bate bowling the doubles and bowled a fantastic doubles.
Yeah, he bowled great.
Set. There you have Anthony Labrie-Soir, who's been pushing through Francois Lowe over at bowling really well in the World Bowling Tour events and EBT events. So, got a lot of great matches coming up here. Everybody's kind of ganged up here the same game. Liz Johnson, Jody Wosner bowling right in front of us.
All right, we'll make the switch to our feature pairs here momentarily. Just want to alert folks. Looks like some are chiming in and letting us know that Extra Frame is working on their particular browser. So that's a good sign. It's working for me. So just keep me in the loop. And again, if there's something we need to let people know about, we'll try to do that. I do have one question for you, Chris,
okay,
if you don't mind, and it comes from Troy Fisher. He asks, what do you take? Oh, wait. What do you use, or what type of notes do you take when bowling an event?
I take a lot of pair-to-pair information. I'll have some general overall stuff for the center. Like I would say, okay, Plano Super Bowl, HPLs, which tells me it's a medium friction surface. If I have some idea of how old it is, I'll make a note of that. This is a high traffic center, which means it'll be fairly track dominant. And then I'll put the pattern. All right, it's 40, 41 feet, 25 mils, 30 mils, whatever the mill is, and then which oil it is. So we know it's ice oil this week. It's a fairly high volume, more than they bowled on, and a little bit higher ratio than, higher than 1-to-1, which seems like what a lot of the years been. Yeah.
Right.
So they're in the 2.5 to 1, at least in spots here. And then I'll list the balls that I use this week, and as I go pair to pair, I'll note where I was standing, where I was looking, and then what tool I might have been using. Say I was rolling it and firm, or these first couple games. And so out on the gutter, I know that, hey, all right, lane 26 is 1.5 tighter than 25. The first time around, it doesn't do that much good. The second, third, fourth time around, you go, hey, every time I bowled on 25 and 6, every time I bowled on 9 and 10, the left lane is hooked more. Then you can at least make an educated guess. Without having thrown a shot, I can guess that, hey, okay, this lane's going to be a little bit, so I only need to line up on one to have a chance to strike on the other one versus having to reinvent the wheel every time on every pair. When you go back to centers multiple times, it starts paying off. Say we bowl in Oklahoma a lot. You start to figure out, hey, okay, these types of balls roll well here, whether it's 38 feet or 45 feet. These type of balls roll well. And start putting the patterns together a little bit so that so it's all guesses. You're just trying to make more educated.
I was going to say the most educated ones you can make.
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot of times it's about just understanding characteristics And in many cases, as you just said, it may not matter the length, the milliliters, but there may be a type of something that rolls better for a particular player no matter what's on
Well,
the
we
line.
all have balls that we like better. And we all have centers that kind of no matter what you bowl on. I mean, there's centers I've bowled in that I went to Tokyo Port Bowl. I was going to bowl well there every time, it seemed like. That what the center like to do and what I like to do matched up. And there's some that you go in and you go, I mean, Oklahoma, for instance,
It's
it's a
gonna be a
center.
long week.
It's nice to have something that's within 3 hours of home, but I don't bowl great there. You know, this past year is I think the second time I've made the overall show out of a lot of tries, which is fortunately, I guess, a little lower than my average. But
Right.
I've had several where I just really struggled to make cuts there, and so you have to start breaking what you want to do and start doing what the center wants you to do. And when you don't bowl on a whole lot of shape, the patterns don't matter as much. How the center plays. Does it play tight down lane, like say a place like Reno? Does it hook more off the gutter like the South Point Plaza? Does it, those kind of things
Right.
come into play because you're bowling on less than 3-1. So the field's going to break the pattern down however they're going to break the pattern down, but the front to back part, which affects different types of ball rolls more, is kind of determines on what you need to do with balls to make it hook in the place the center wants. Wow. Giselle Poss with a fantastic shot. And our third straight 9 count.
I've seen a lot of 9 pins here at the at the U.S. Women's Open. A lot of 9 pins. There are a few 8 pins I saw early in qualifying. We've had a lot of pocket 7 pins.
Yep. And that's a tribute to ice oil is pretty slick. And this is a higher volume than they bowled on the whole season. And so for the most part, every player, consciously or subconsciously, will start to adapt to the environment. And they've hooked pretty good. So all ball speeds are a little bit higher. And you're seeing less and less as players are going on because they're getting the balls, either doing it themselves through speed and roll changes, or they're just getting more surface on the balls to get them to slow down sooner. But early in the week you saw a lot of players getting the ball behind the head pin and leaving those ripped 7-10s. Now the ones you're seeing are more about players maybe getting a little too much surface and then the ball bogging down a little bit and the 5 going. Instead of in front of the 7, it goes behind the 7.
Liz Johnson and Jody Wessner, 4 for 4, both players.
Well, they're, very, very unusual seeing Liz Johnson at the top of the leaderboard at the US
believe it.
Open. Yeah, it's so odd.
I'm shocked.
The only real surprise is that Kelly is not second right next door. Actually, Daria just took the lead.
She did, and she also just made the 210. A pair of 2-hour
Two
rights.
things that didn't happen that much a year ago.
Well, she finished 23rd here last year, and I know not here at Plano Super Bowl,
in
but
Chicago.
U.S. Women's Open at Stardust in Chicagoland, Addison, Illinois. You were there.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine there's not a ton of differences where you just, 1 through 20. Here's how Daria is better, but there's some significant differences, I'm sure, from that time to now.
And that was a breakthrough for her too. She was bowling part-time. She's still a college student, and everybody knew that she had a great release, and but her accuracy wasn't as good as it needed to be. So the fact that she was working on things in between the queens and there and made it on a pattern that was
A little tough,
measurably
right?
difficult was a big stepping stone. Now, she didn't bowl as great in the finals, but it's all part of the process. And so she made it there on something that's really hard. She led the queens, which is one of the higher scoring. Yeah. See what you did?
Won a game.
Too
at
legit.
least. Won a game.
Yeah.
Keep going. Sorry.
No, there are steps. You learn how to qualify. Then when you learn how to then you get into that cashier's round. Then you figure out how to get in the top 12. And that whole top 12 that they do, it's all a different process. How the lanes break down, the mentality that goes with it, and the pressure that goes with it. You have to learn each step a little bit, and very few people get to skip steps.
Sandra Gongora and Giselle Poss. I wanted to say 2 very young players, or 2 good young players. Sandra's still in the youth of her career as well, but Poss literally fresh out of Vanderbilt. just at this point 5 months ago. For Sandra from your alma mater.
Very talented. Still bowling for Team Mexico. And as young as she is, she's been good for a long time. She's been on the national team, it seems like, since she was about, it seems like she was like 14. So
players like herself and Rocio, Clara, who has been on representing Colombia for a very long time. I think 20 years at this point for Clara.
Yeah. And still relatively young. Thought that went in a little bit there, but the front has started to break down. The players are starting to be able to move away from it just a little bit and create a little bit of hold with angle.
Pocket 7-10 in the 5th. Western struck in the 6th. Here is Liz Johnson now, 6th frame.
Right there.
Wow.
And
On
right back at you.
On the same lane. Pocket 7-10.
That lane 26 has been, it's like there is a speed bump in this pattern too, which will make it look like that as well and slow some balls down, especially as you move left, you see it more. That's about as much reaction you get out of Daria right there. But yeah, it will kind of kick the ball in the teeth a little bit on the way down and effectively lower your rev rate as it goes through the pins because it loses traction.
Chris, I have one more question from someone. This is from Richard Rump from Miami. That sounds like a great place to be right now. Has a question, and he's a senior. He's 70.
Mm-hmm.
How can he increase his ball speed? Can't get over 14 miles an hour. So what can he do considering his age?
Essentially, there's a couple of ways to create ball speed, and generally speaking, speed should come from your legs because it allows your upper body to stay still and be more accurate. Now, depending on mobility and those kind of issues, ideally you can move back on the approach just a little bit, and then you don't have to pick up your pace of speed. You just end up taking bigger steps. You cover a little bit more ground in the same amount of time. If that's not possible and you're not able to quicken the pace of your steps due to whatever physical limitations, you can also do it by raising the ball in the stance and giving the swing a longer path. Again, keeping your pace the same distance or the same time and the same rhythm, tempo, but the swing itself will cover more ground in the same amount of time, therefore increasing the speed a little bit.
I hope that helps you, Richard. Good luck as you continue to bowl. And thank you for bowling, by the way. Appreciate you. I hope to continue to be still bowling when I'm 70 years old as well.
And after bowling the Lucy last week, it feels like that would be tomorrow for me. So, Shannon with the second one, the 10th. She's going to shoot 240 now. That will force Daria to, shoot 247. Daria has a possible 257. So count here matters. She strikes on the fill, will force Daria to throw the first two. Jody, following that 7-10, and now the 4-bagger 7-10 double. She now takes a 10-pin lead over Liz, who left a 10-pin following her 7-10. On the right, Shannon does strike. That will force Daria to double in this kind of battle of the top four here.
Speaking of top four, Daria Payo. We'll show you Jody Westner here 1 second, and back to Payo. Daria Payo, Liz Johnson, Jody Westner, Shannon O'Keefe. We have them all here on our featured pair and our bonus coverage as well. That's a nice break.
Well, it was spot on in the Erin call. She's down to 8th, so
yeah,
it is early, but yeah, she bowled a bad game down there, it seems, and lost, and so she went from 5th. She's still a 25 of the show. There's Daria. Wow.
Nice shot.
Wow.
After 10 pin.
Yeah. Moral victories don't count for much there, but that was a good shot.
O'Keefe will get the victory. Jody Wessner needs a win today. She's 0-3 so far here this morning.
Things have a tendency of evening out over time. Yesterday she bowled well yesterday, don't get me wrong, but she was 7-1, and so was able to capitalize and take advantage and win the matches. And there's always, I always kind of figured if you bowled really well, you won 14. You bowled bad, you won about 10. And you kept shooting the pace score, that the rest of it would take care of itself.
Right.
But you have good breaks like that. She probably, I don't know exactly how it went yesterday, but she probably won a match or two that she either took advantage of a fortunate situation or was gifted a match or two that normally would not have been. And those things have a way of evening themselves out. She hasn't really dropped in the standings, but lost a couple games, and maybe one of those is one that she probably shouldn't have lost.
Pocket 7-10 for Post. That one, you could see it just kind of, as it got to the 1-3.
And this is when some of that happens here. The game 4, you're starting to get some transition. Balls are starting to hook more in the front, less in the back.
And here is Wessner in the 9th.
Well, that will give Liz an opportunity. So that leaves her with a possible 245, and Liz with a possible 256 going into the 10th frame.
And back to our scores as Payonk officially tallies 247, 236. O'Keefe with the win there. Coming into this game, Payonk had the lead by 6 pins over Liz Johnson. 1409 at plus 1403. Jody Wessner third at plus 1300. Shannon O'Keefe was in fourth at plus 1291. Julia Bond in fifth at plus 1265. Valerie Bercier bowling well. She is in sixth. Sandra Gungor in seventh. Erin McCarthy in eighth. And we talked about, you mentioned Kelly Kulick. She's 3-0 on the day and is moved up to ninth.
That is not someone you want to be sniffing at the show coming down the stretch. This is the big shots here for Sandra. This has not been a high-scoring pair all week on 23 and 4. If she strikes out, she shoots 207, and with that error, well, not really an error, but the bad break by Giselle, she could force Giselle to double in the 10th. That's in.
Wow.
Good move.
What makes her so good?
Sandra?
And it's twofold. What makes her so good, and then maybe what?
Her uniqueness is that she has a lot of axis rotation. Now, in her college career, she threw it very, very firm. And so it was very unique that she had one of the highest rev rates, and she could also play straight better than most and get it through the front. As she's become a better and better pro, she's had speed control, added more and more range to her speed control now, which makes her good on a lot of things. And much like most of the young players, the extra axis rotation allows her to create more down lane angle on a regular basis. Once again, Bo Burton here right into the 210. With that axis rotation, you clear a lot of the front of the lane. If you get hard and there's oil down lane, and with the speed bump that is in this pattern, towards the back of the pattern, if it doesn't hook in front of that speed bump, it will accelerate right through the back end.
Wessner has doubled in the 10th and has tripled in the 10th.
She does what she needs to do. That forces Liz to go strike 9 spare to tie, double to win. Break spare, which will keep her at 180, but that will not be enough to win the game. Giselle Post will win that game, and will put a little speed bump itself in Sandra's momentum up towards the show.
Erin McCarthy shot 269 to defeat Maria Rodriguez, who shot 256.
Kelly and Shannon Blahowski stuck in a not great match. Both of them are struggling. There's only been 2 strikes between the two of them in the entire game. Shannon has 99 in the 7th. Kulick has 102 on a spare in the 6th. It's this you're hoping for a win just so you only lose a few pins at this point. As has been the case throughout, and the pairs have changed around depending on who started where, but there has been definitely the good pairs and the bad pairs.
I feel like we have one game that has been low scoring, kind of almost every other game at least, on a different pair. Before, I think it was Nicole Trudell and Kelly. Maybe not today, but maybe last night. They had a game like that.
There's a transition. A lot of it's set up because the biggest bump in the shape is outside of both the center characteristic and the length of the pattern. And so the players are able to take advantage of it for a little while, but at some point you get caught with it hooks too early there, and then you have to make, it's not just a 3 and 2, it's a 7 and 5. And if you get stuck in the middle of that too long, you basically have no left, and the right plays tight down the lane, and you get, it's very easy to get stuck on that. That will be part of the strategy for Daria today, is to identify when that spot is and to jump over it quicker. And so she shot 310 over yesterday, but it was with a 170 game in the middle as well. And so to try and get away from that game and eliminate it entirely and add a little bit more score to it, or at least where you can keep up with, you don't have to shoot 270 twice around it to make up for it.
Sure. All right, Liz Johnson does what she does. She doubled, tried a different ball on the fill, and shoots 256. She gets the win over Jody Wessner, who remains winless so far here this morning, but shooting good enough games, obviously, to remain near the top 5.
So Liz will take the lead. She picks up 50 pins on Daria there with 20 pins plus the bonus. So basically we'll take a 45 pin, give or take, lead into game 5.
Speaking of game 5, while we wait, we'll take a very small break. Chris, thanks again, sir.
Thank you for
as
letting
always.
me stick in here.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime. I'm sure it won't be the last today, because I would want to get your opinion, especially this evening, on what you see and what the differences were between this morning and then tonight's block.
I appreciate it.
No problem.
You're
That is
too
Chris
legit.
Barnes. We'll tell you a story about that,
quick.
too, at some point as well. Chris Barnes, thank you, sir. Back in a moment, folks. 2017 U.S. Women's Open, Bowl TV on Extra Frame. All right, welcome back, folks. Big thanks to Chris Barnes joining us here this morning. Big thanks for those of you who had questions as well. For the man, the myth, the legend, we are our featured pairs together now. We'll keep an eye on Katelyn Johnson and Shannon Pluhowski, as Katelyn Johnson again has started strong here, front three. It's very difficult to, if you were in the business of trying to pick who would be in the top 5 or at worst pick a winner. Nice shot there from Leanne Holsenberg. Won this event back in 2011 at what was then called Cowboy Stadium, now AT&T, right on the 50-yard line. Just about 40 minutes away in Arlington, Texas. Early double for Liz Johnson, Danielle McEwen as they square off. So it looks like I see you, John, and you have the latest, looks like the latest comment. So it's working for some and not working for others. So I'm just going to send a note to the extra frame gurus just to make them aware. Hopefully it doesn't cause more, if anything. But I imagine if those of you commenting, there are others who aren't commenting that are having the same trouble. At the same token, there are others who are not having trouble and not commenting either. So I want to help everyone out there because today's a big day. Sorry I missed that opportunity for you, Jan. I did not see the question within the other comments. So the next guest that we have on, I will try to remember that particular question because it's a good one. Mental toughness is very important because when you get to this level, as you mentioned, Jan, they have extreme physical games and physical strength. So a lot of times the physical game is not the issue. It can be between the ears, as we like to say. I think everyone who has ever played any sport at some point or another has had trouble mentally. And it is something that I think probably some people are naturally better at focusing or blocking things out than others. And I would say I would be someone who was always looking to find a book. The problem was I didn't really enjoy reading anything that wasn't sports related. And although bowling is a sport, it wasn't directly about bowling. And so I would kind of get disinterested. It's kind of weird. That's how much of a sports guy I am. But as of late, I've actually gotten a few books that aren't sports related, but more kind of business focused. Some things that are media related. It's important to still be learning in whatever field it is you're in. I was actually in the startup world for a little bit. I didn't have a startup, but I did work for one. And so that got me very interested, and I've kind of been interested in it since. It's been a couple years. And so you never know. Maybe down the road, you say, it's time. Maybe you get a great idea, you put something together. Maybe you got a little capital. Maybe you can hopefully get some more. But getting back to the original point, I'll try to remember that. I'm sure there are some. In fact, Daria Payonk mentioned to me last night. She's just in a better place mentally as well, and she did mention she's been listening to some different podcasts and such. So next time I speak with her, if I can, probably won't happen during the rest of this round, but I'll be sure to ask her and report that back. Meanwhile, Katelyn Johnson has the front 6 again. I'm sure everyone here will be able to recommend one book or video or podcast that they've listened to or read or watched that has helped them in some regard with the mental game. From a bowling perspective, though, I don't think you can go wrong with Dr. Dean Hintz. That would kind of be my start. I would Google Dr. Dean. I mean, he's been, as far as mental games and the mental psychology of it for the sport of bowling, he's been one of the best, if not the best, for a very long time. I would start there. But appreciate you tuning in, Jan. Steve Keller, hello. Hey, Patrick, I saw that your comment in regards to Daria earlier. Yeah, she was playing around 2. She was, ever so slightly left to right. But I doubt she's gonna throw one in the channel. But I mean, a lot of the players, if not all, but certainly most, have been around 2-3 at some point in the event. Just take a look at Katelyn Johnson, who gets the 9-pin to fall. She shot 298 in game 2, I believe it was. It was game 2. She followed that with 266. And let's see if we've got our new score update. We do after 44 games. Liz Johnson on top. Daria Payonk second. Shannon O'Keefe is third. 4.79 there for Holstenberg. See if we can get you Johnson's 8th frame shot. This is Katelyn. And a 10-pin. So she's enjoying the fresh, trying to make a run here. She shot 227. She's won her last 3 matches and now finds herself just 114 pins back of 5th place. Jody Wessner in 4th, Erin McCarthy in 5th. For Liz Johnson, Liz, Daria have traded the lead already a couple times today, as well as Jody Wessner. Fortunately, Jody shot 245 and lost and remains winless today. So she is 0-4. Let's see if there is anyone 4-0. It is. It is Kelly Kulick. And Kelly shot 170 and won. And that was certainly a thankful win when you shoot 170. That was the game Chris Barnes mentioned between her and Shannon Puhalski. Low scoring match. Pretty sure Kelly was in 10th before that. So she actually dropped a few places because of the 170. She's actually won the most matches in the tournament. And I think that has allowed her, certainly because of the bonus pins, to maintain a very close distance to 5th place. Just 127 pins back, which you can make up certainly in 8 games. Rodriguez for 4 in a row. And a 2-8. Big thanks to everyone tuning in. I want to thank Jamie Brooks, the proprietor here at Plano Super Bowl. Mrs. Brooks doing just a fantastic job. Thank you for being such great hosts. Thanks to all of the staff here at Plano Super Bowl. Scott Craddock, Aaron, and everyone here. Thanks to everyone at Scratch Kitchen. This is the eatery inside the bowling center. I've had several meals there, several today or this week, as well as the staff, and everything has been pretty superb. So big thank you to them. Oh, nice late kick on the 10-pin. for Danielle McEwen. Tomorrow, of course, is TV day. Live show at noon Eastern time on CBS Sports Network. And then, of course, we will tape the final 3 standard events of the season. The PWBA Orlando Open, the PWBA St. Petersburg Clearwater Open, and the nationwide PWBA Rochester Open. Big double there for Liz Johnson, and she takes a 1-pin advantage. So back-to-back 2-8 combinations, one without the 10-pin and the other with. Jody Wessner looking for her first victory of the day. She's taking on Giselle Paz. Big double. She heads to the 10th frame. Liz Johnson throws 10 back and a no-doubter. We jokingly said it's a shocker to see Liz Johnson in the, or excuse me, at the top of the standings at a U.S. Women's Open. I mean, just unbelievable how she just continues to do what she does. Let's go back to Katelyn Johnson. Spare in the 8th, of course, had the 10-pin, struck in the 9th, and oh boy. A 2-4-8-10. That is in the 10th frame. She is going to defeat Shannon Pluhowski. Shannon struggling. She struggled yesterday, went 1-7. She has some decent games too and lost. Like 233, 241, for example. Lost both of those. It's 2-2 on the day, and now we'll go to 2-3. She still have some magic left. Can she find something on the left side? McEwen. All right, Liz Johnson has a chance to shut out Danielle and win the match by 1 pin. Wow. Excellent shot in the 9th for Liz. Giselle Paz. She got a double and the 10th. She can only get to 219. Wessner will get her first win. And a 7-pin, first shot of the 10th for Liz Johnson. So McEwen can take the match in the 10th. .247, Kaitlyn Johnson. .227, Shannon Pluhowski. Leanne Holsenberg with 4 in a row and in control. 238 for LJ. All right, Danielle McEwen needs a strike here. Strike on the first shot, she'll win the match. If she goes 9 spare strike, that will be 237. Wow, and a 4-9 in the 10th frame for Holsenberg. So now Rodriguez, if Holsenberg doesn't spare this, will have a chance to win. McEwen, first shot. That's a winner. She gave it a run, really, and had no choice but to do so. So Holsenberg now with 210. Rodriguez must strike here. She needs a double. She goes strike 9 out, that would be 210. So I think strike 9 spare. I don't think you can throw it better than that. Wow. Heck of a shot. Oh, excuse me, that would be 210. Sorry. So she needs one more. D-Mac, very nice, 258. Game 5. Summer League. Bang. Quality shots in Rodriguez. Avoids the potential tie situation. Thanks, Adrian. I know, Patrick. I was trying to read books about keeping focus, and I lost focus. So I guess that tells you all you need to know about my focus. It's different, though, when I'm competing. Rodriguez is going to try something here. I think we may have something brewing down on 9 and 10 potentially in regards to perfect games. Nicely done by Rodriguez. Takes advantage of the opening, and she gets a victory 221 to 210. All right, we've reached a point where there are no matches ongoing around us at the moment. Liz Johnson will be on 27 and 28, that we know. And Liz Culkin, I believe, will be her opponent. Let me check the schedule, because that alleviates any and all confusion. So on 23 and 24, we'll have Brittany Smith and Shannon Pluhowski. On 25 and 26, Brianna Cote and Kelly Kulick. And on 27 and 28, Liz Johnson and Liz Culkin. Game 6 is on the way. You're watching the 2017 U.S. Women's Open. Noon Central Time right now, actually 12:02, so it's lunchtime for everyone else out there. 1 p.m. Eastern. Still, still get a little breakfast or brunch over on the Mountain Time and West Coast. Looks like Brianna Cote with an opportunity for 300. I can't tell if she struck on the first shot in the 10th. I think she did. She's kind of telling herself to relax, calm down a little bit. I'm going to take a small break, and then I was going to try to go man a camera, but it'll be tough. It'll be tough to see it. Both Jason Thomas and EBI's Mike Flanagan down getting video. And so because they're still there means that 300 is still alive. Cote, 11th shot. And that, my friends, may have been a 10-pin, and it is. So nice run for Cote. Let's see where she is at the moment. She might be able to climb the standings. She's in 19th. She's won a couple matches. Make it 4-1 at this point. Still anybody's ball game, but like the way Chris Barnes mentioned how he would prefer to kind of think about an event like this, where if you can get ahead of half of the field by 200 pins or so, that certainly should help you. We'll take a break. We'll return. We'll have more from the 2017 U.S. Women's Open. You are watching it live. This is Bowl TV on Extra Frame. All right, folks, this is game 6. After 5, Liz Johnson still in the lead at plus 1527. Shannon O'Keefe in second at plus 1420. Jody Wessner at third at plus 1413. Daria Payonk is fourth at plus 1406. Brianna Cote striking again in the ninth, developing some very good momentum. 289. And now has had a chance to shoot 258. Kelly Kulick, meanwhile, struggling a little bit here. He's had a game of 170. She has had a game of 205. Those are the two lowest games, and now a 2.810 on lane 26. Liz Johnson and Liz Culkin battling. A battle of the Lizes. Puhowski and Brittany Smith. Three pin for Puhowski. Oh, some good people here. Joni and Jeannie Franklin watching some U.S. Women's Open action. Two great individuals, two very good bowlers from the area. I'm sure many probably have heard of them at some point also. I've come across them. Liz Johnson. My new goal for Liz, it's the end of the season now, so I'll work on it for next year, is to find the best adjectives that are not common to describe what she's doing at this point in her career. And, well, that's a terrible break. Pocket 710 in the 10th frame with a max score of 279. Just for the points of just in case, we're going to keep it here. You never know. She is Liz Johnson. That's Brianna Cote. Getting a good look at her signature. All right, she doesn't bounce it. Puhowski 212. And Brittany Smith will need one more here in the 10th frame. Here is Cote. Big shot. Well, Brittany Smith has made the task of winning this game just a tad bit tougher. 3, 4, 6, 7, 10. If she makes it, she wins by a 1. If she gets 4, they tie. Anything less, and that is a loss. Cote for 250, yes. Building momentum. And she gets 2. She falls 212 to 210. And maybe Shannon Puhowski kind of sees another win captured. Ashley trying to build a little momentum if she can. Hasn't thrown it too bad based on her scores. 217, 203, 256. Did shoot 145. 227 and lost. Now 212 and a win. The games that where she shoots big games, those are the ones she isn't winning. That is the irony in that. Ashley Galante is dipped all the way down to 24th. She was challenging for the show for much of the week. And it's 0-5 today. So Cote, again, 289 last game, now 258. She is now 5-1 and has put together an immense block. 238, 234, 245, 185, 289, now 258. She's averaging 241 today and is making the climb. You see Daria Kovalova. Daria is the alternate. She finished 25th. Had a tough last game of the Cashers round, which was game 32 overall. But she fell out of the top 24. A talented player from the Ukraine. All right, coming up next, we'll have Clara Guerrero and Verity Crawley. Verity and Julia Bond finishing up their match. Looks like Verity shot, well, looks to be 255. A tough game there for Julia Bond. She can only get to 175 if my eyes are correct. Clara Guerrero and Stephanie Johnson finishing up. Clara will get the win in that one. Jenny Wegner defeats Jody Wessner in game 6, 219 to 192. Erin McCarthy defeated Ashley Galante. All right, let's take a look at Facebook again. Big thanks to everyone tuning in. Double check XF. All is still well from what I'm looking at, but some have had some troubles. Pat, in regards to your Summer League comment there, the pattern here this week is 43 feet, but it's more than 20 mils. It is 31. So that actually is a very big difference in that regard. 31 milliliters. This is the highest volume this year, this season. Again, 43 feet. This actually gives you the opportunity. You know, some sport leagues certainly like to put down patterns, you know, from the PBA Tour, PWA Tour, similar to what obviously your league is doing as you're bowling on the Bear. I would be, if I had saw this earlier, I'd certainly be interested to get someone like Chris Barnes' opinion on that, of course, as he's bowled on the Bear, of course, and get his opinions on what the differences are. So there's definitely some friction that is relatively available. I believe we're going to game 7. Patrick from Springfield. One other difference, not sure what type of conditioner that you're using or that the league is using, Patrick, but I know they're using, this week is ice, Kegel ice, which tends to hold longer. Hello, Donald. Appreciate your comment, sir. Donald, you hit the nail right on the head. That is my goal. That's my job. Every time I put on the headset or have a microphone handy. And throughout the year, I've said, which is why I love radio broadcasting so much, because I feel I have to make you feel like I'm talking directly to you, because I am your source, essentially, to whatever event is taking place. Of course, we do have the benefit of video, but my goals don't change. Bowling is a very unique sport, in my opinion, in regards to broadcasting it or calling it. I think it has a few similarities to other sports. I think you need to be able to mix it up a little bit, like baseball. Baseballs can be very slow. You have to be prepared when you do a baseball game. There's a lot that can happen. There could be 45-minute innings. It could be hour innings, for example. So it's different when you have the element of video or TV, but that's why Vince Scully was so good, and the many other great baseball broadcasters, because the unique ability to mix in stats and the preparation, and of course the art of storytelling, which is always kind of in constant involvement, if you will. I don't think I've been around that long enough to delve or into some relevant stories. And that's why you try to bring people on who can give you that element in regards to what's relevant with the particular event. But yes, definitely, Donald, that's my goal. So I thank you for that. I really do. Julia Bond and Stephanie Johnson. And JB back on the featured pairs. .006.5 taking on hometown favorite at this point, Stephanie Johnson, who works here at Plano Super Bowl. We've talked about Steph's story this year, having their second child with husband Chris, daughter Kinsey Rose, who joined their 3-year-old son Levi. Daughter was born in March. Stephanie did not bowl until July 6th through 8th to be exact. That was the PWBA Orlando Open. Made the show at a place where she practiced, competed, worked at Boardwalk Bowl in Orlando. That was her home for a while. Bowled at Central Florida, which is also in Orlando, coached by the great Pat Costello, Hall of Famer. And having the opportunity, obviously, to make the show, but then, of course, the way we do things here on tour at the moment, the finals of those events taped at the next major location, which is here at Plano Super Bowl, which is where she now works, now lives, now competes, and now practices. So the circle continues for Steph, although with some differences and some great additions. But it's cool because, in a way, everything has remained the same. Verity Crawley. Has 2 runner-up finishes as a rookie on the PWBA Tour. Right now, she is in the lead in the Rookie of the Year race, but not by much behind her, just in front of her friend and now peer, of course, Daria Pyle. So this week is going to be telling. Payuk, of course, has accepted her invitation as a champion to the Smithfield PWBA Tour Championship. Crawley, if she does not win the U.S. Women's Open, will not be involved in a tape show on Sunday. And so it will be based on points for her, but she was 11th coming in. She's made match play. Double points here at the U.S. Women's Open this week because it's a major. So I think she's going to be okay. All right, let's check our scores. Liz Johnson now out in front of someone who is new to second place at the moment, and that is Erin McCarthy. Chris Barnes, who joined us earlier, said he would not be surprised and almost expected Erin to have a pretty good day today. And he said that she was using something a little different, ball with a little shine to it. And because of her ball speed and some of her characteristics that make her great, she doesn't have to necessarily use surface to do what she has to do. She's going to go left to right, and she has been. I'll be soft-footed at the bottom. All right, Liz Johnson, plus 1602. She's got a 132 pin lead currently on Erin McCarthy. Erin sits at plus 1470. Plus 1470, 1470. Daria Payonk is now third at plus 1451. Shannon O'Keefe is now fourth at plus 1423. Guerrero can't get the 10 to fall. Jody Wessner now in fifth. Has finally won a match, but she's just 1-5. Her scores are higher, certainly the back half of this block. Has resulted or translated into several wins. Valerie Bercier, representing Canada, is in sixth, just 6 pins back. She is 10-4 in match play, and I know that makes Brian McLean very happy. Katelyn Johnson from Lumberton, Texas, is 7th, just 85 pins back. Actually, hard to believe. Actually, no, it's not. I don't remember where Katelyn was to begin with as we begun things this morning. But I was going to say hard to believe she isn't in the top 5, but she has worked her way up the ladder after the 298, then 266, 227, 247. Nice little run there. Yenny Wegner, 8th. 94 pins back of 5th. Stephanie Johnson in 9th. 118 back, and here comes Brianna Cote. Again, the 289, 258. She is now 10th and 137 pins back. For those of you in the area, the Core Tailgate is down at the VIP. The VIP portion of the building. The first 7 lanes on the low end, of course, of Plano Super Bowl. Encourage you to come out, learn more about the Core. Some giveaways, some great items, backpacks. Maybe even a bowling ball or 2. So be sure to come out. Check, keep an eye on the Sport of Bowling USBC Facebook page as well for some more items from the Core. Julia Bond with 4 in a row. Go to bowl.com/thecore for more information. Again, bowl.com/thecore. I will say that I've had some fun shooting and talking about various items within the Core. Talking with Earl and Tom Frenzel back at headquarters, Jason Milligan. Talking about balls and equipment specifications, Rod Ross with the Team USA program. And the event coverage that we provide with within the Core itself. You get to hear what the conversations are between players and ball reps during practice, before events. Learn more about how players choose their ball arsenals, what balls they chose, and why they did it, and the order of which they would go from ball to ball in particular situations. An opportunity to be on hand at various locations on tour this season. For example, at Wichita, a chance to give some subscribers a look into the Wichita State bowling program. So different things like that. We look forward to having you see those, of course, and you can only do it as part of the Core. At bowl.com/thecore. Valerie Bercier has the front 6, and Daria Payonk, my goodness, has the front 7 again. Rodriguez to our right. There's Maria Jose Rodriguez. She is 13. She's within striking distance. Sandra Gongora has taken a small step back. She shot 69, 78, 225 to begin things, and 180, 220, 179 the last 3. Still in the mix, however, with, at this point, 1.5 games left to play. This round, we'll take a break. Competition for round 2 actually will start at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 Central. So an hour earlier than yesterday. So keep that in mind. All right, we'll keep you updated here. Let's see. So Bercier just had the front 7 now. She struck on the right lane. She's on to the left lane, and my goodness. Well, you can just guess based on my reaction what she left. First term is, the word is pocket, and you can fill in the rest. Payonk, front 8. Bercier did get 1. She's got 260 left. Formerly Valerie Calberry, for those who may not know the last name. But she is certainly doing it proud right now. She's bowled well the last 2 events, and that has been Rochester and now the U.S. Women's Open. See if she bowled the Lucy. Looks like Payon's run came to an end there. Don't see what she left, but there is something on the deck. Julia Bond trying to get back to the level of success she experienced last night. A couple tough games, nothing too crazy though. And they'll put her completely off pace to make the top 5. Scratch Kitchen has something working. It is smelling quite good. Very good match brewing between Erin McCarthy and Bercier. Stephanie Johnson, meanwhile, trying to figure something out and almost didn't get a break there. Brianna Cote, she's going to win one more match. One more strike here in the 10th would put her in the 230s. I think Cote may have made up the most ground potentially. Pin there in 11th shot for Cote, so she might have to settle for 228. So Bercier went 9 spare in the 9th. McCarthy can go, she can punch out for 246. A strike here and Bercier would lock the matchup. There's Bercier. And now, if she makes this, there'll be the possibility of a tie. Julia Bond, keep you updated there. Trying to double up in the 9th frame. Shot. Excuse me. Sorry about that. All right, 246 there for Bercier. McCarthy can strike out for the tie. Steph J. First shot in the 10th for McCarthy. And a flat 10. So Bercier will take that match. Verity Crawley to 220, so this will force at least the first one in the 10th for Clara Guerrero. All right, nice finish there for Crawley. Again, the next round will begin at 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern. And a 2-8-10 for Clara. And Crawley will have the match here. Rodriguez defeats Galante 213 to 205. Stephanie Johnson trying to find some ball reaction here. She shoots 172. Open in the 10th for Clara. 223 to 201.
Yes. Shot out there. Let's go. One more time, baby.
Julia Bond creeping on a come up. Fell behind the pace. She opened the day with a win. Has one game under 200. But it's only resulted in one victory. 95 over. Liz Johnson was plus 218 after 6 games this block. Brianna Cote plus 249 after 6 games this block. All right, 246 for Julia Bond. She'll head one pair to our right. All right, we're headed to game number 8. see an update in regards to connection issues. Although I've seen this before, but not on Extra Frame. We were at the Hoosier Classic in Indianapolis, and it looked to be a portion of the country, a rather large portion of the country, could not log on to YouTube. It was not working. So hopefully that's not the same issue, but I see some similarities you guys are pointing out in certain areas of the country. The Northwest, for example. Bond goes right over to the next pair and picks up where she left off. Well, Miranda Fisher. She is watching from Canada, of course, rooting for Valerie. Valerie just had a stint at the World Games, representing Canada. Kelly Kulick and Danielle McEwen were there representing the United States. Clara Guerrero and Rocio Restrepo representing Colombia. They won a gold medal in doubles. Kulick and McEwen won silver. And Sandra Gongora, who also was there at the World Games, won the bronze medal with fellow PWBA player Tanya Lopez. So from the PWBA standpoint, it's great to see all 6 doubles medalists from the PWBA Tour. Pluhowski for an early double. Bang. Sorry about that, Patrick. I did have on the last break, I noticed that the crowd mic was a little further down or turned down than I normally would have it. So you probably didn't hear much. My bad. John Shannon Price. Hello. Ain. Jeremy Thomas. All right, game 8. We'll have a break after this. And then 8 more games to determine 5 finalists for the U.S. Women's Open. Is there a more prestigious event than the U.S. Women's Open or U.S. Open? Both events. To our right, Jody Westner and Valerie Bercier. So we'll try to get a little of that match. Liz Johnson taking on Ashley Galante. Those are the matches that we can get a rover on. All right, Clara trying to find the best ball reaction she can as well. Julia Bond is not having any trouble at the moment, although that one looked to pinch in. And it was. Just a touch left. Don't forget, folks, to make sure you set those DVRs if you won't be able to get to your TV. All right, Shannon P. Didn't like it, but it struck. And that is 3 in a row for Shannon. Let's go ahead and hit the refresh button on our score updates. 228.901, the average for Liz Johnson at plus 1599. Still with company now. As Payonk shot 255. Boy, you know, Daria, when the season started, we'll have to go back to our roundtable discussion. Wow. (7-9) for Puhalski. Tad shocked by that. Open frame in the fourth, but Payonk will have to go back again, listen to, or excuse me, read our PWBA roundtable that we had. And see what the Rookie of the Year picks were. I'm pretty sure that it was kind of split, although a couple people may have voted for or said Verity would be the one, or Daria. I know I went with Brittany Smith. And either of those choices, selections, certainly still remain admirable. Julia starting to see just a tad early hook. Shannon O'Keefe for the front five to our left. Stephanie Johnson has moved pairs, got a little better ball reaction. A spare three-bagger. Julia Bond is ninth currently, 142 out of fifth. Valerie Bercier has made her way into the top five. Right now, the only non-member competing, or excuse me, not competing in the top five. Julia Bond, also a non-member, and Katelyn Johnson. Three players not members of the PWBA, but have bowled very well here, find themselves again in the hunt. All right, good adjustment there for Bond. She strikes in the fifth. Kelly Kulick. Kelly sporting the Monopoly game board on her jersey. She's gone video, or she's not video game. Board games. Monopoly and Scrabble for sure, that I recognize. And a 7-pin. Nicole Trudell is in eighth. Jenny Wegner starting to make the move. Wegner is 6-1. So when we opened up match play today for round 2, Jody Wessner was in the lead. Daria Payonk was second. Nice pickup there for Kulick. Liz Johnson was third. Erin McCarthy was fourth. Shannon O'Keefe was fifth. Kaitlyn Johnson was 17th. Let's see. Kaitlyn Johnson now in 11th. Brianna Cote, she was 22nd. Cote is now 10th. Wow. Get no break there for Clara. Julia Bond, maybe on the 10, no. Stephanie Johnson continuing to strike. Steph is 13th after 47 games. Brittany Smith can shoot 277. Well, what a match that is between her and Verity Crawley. Crawley in the 9th. Both have, or excuse me, Crawley opened in the 4th. That's the difference in the match. Both 8 out of 9. Smith spare in the 5th. Crawley open in the 4th. So she can only get to 259. Keep our eyes on that one. Verity is 16th. Two teammates there. Julia Bond and Shannon Pluhowski on Team USA. Oh, make it, Shannon. How about that? Nicely done. It's a nice hand clap. Brittany Smith strikes first shot in the 10th. Smith is 14th. She can get to 270. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Looking at the wrong sheet there. Brittany Smith is 21st. Not having a good day today. She'll go, she went 6-2 yesterday, and now she will go 2-6 here this morning. She'll be at 500 on the match play record. So as you would expect, obviously, which is the way it goes here. Some players enjoying some success, some not. Some players able to win matches, some not. And we've got some players going up and down the leaderboard. Up and down moves in the standings. 277 for Brittany Smith. Good way to end round number 2. Bond for a double. New video posted on both the Sport of Bowling USBC Facebook page and PWBA. Get a good look at each player in the match play field, all 24. A video produced by Jason Thomas, Daria Payonk. Still striking. Clara. Bang. Good shot. Guerrero in 20th. Of course, won her first major title last season. At the Go Bowling PWBA Players Championship. Jody has fallen out of the top 5. And again, just when I mentioned players have won matches, some haven't. I mean, that's just how it goes sometimes. I mean, there are a lot of people who are 6-1, and that means those same amount of people must be 1-6, right? So Valerie Bercier is 6-1. Jody Wessner is 1-6. They've made the changes essentially in the standings themselves because of their match play records. The bonus pins, you know, can't understate the importance of winning a match. Now, sometimes, you know, you're just going to lose, you bowl bad. Sometimes you're going to bowl well and still lose. Sometimes you are not going to bowl well and win. It's just like the movie. Has anyone seen White Men Can't Jump? It's one of my favorite movies. And I'm talking about the movie where Gloria tells Billy, sometimes when you win, you really lose. And sometimes when you lose, you really win. And sometimes you actually tie. I still don't know what that last part really means. But the first couple sentences has some, does have some ring to it, has some meaning. All right, Bercier throwing pins around. I'll give you a little bit of Valerie here who can get to 250. And she's already put herself in position in 5th currently. She'd like to stay there or move up and have 8 games to go before potentially representing Canada. On the U.S. Women's Open TV show, but a long way to go, of course. All right, she'll have to settle for 240. She's had a very, very nice game. And I'm talking about her physical game. There's not much to it. I don't think I've seen her fall off a shot in the 2 weeks that I've watched her bowl. Even on the spare attempt here. Very sound. In line. I think, no doubt, one of Canada's finest. It's a pretty good team there, if I think about it. I've seen Miranda Pennis a little bit as well, bowling some events as Pluhowski finishes with 194. In a game that looked like Shannon would be able to lock up. Now Julia Bond can double to win the match. Kelly Kulick, some struggles late. And now Clara in the 10th frame for W. Jody Wessner just trying to get through. Big one. Had to have that. And now, one more. You see Guerrero. She's going to be in the 230s. Now Julia Bond. A double to win here. Needs one more. Ten back. So needs officially 3 pins to win this match. Guerrero. Final shot can get to 236. Nicely done. And Clara acknowledges the crowd. Julia Bond. Final shot on our featured pairs. 202, and more importantly, 30 bonus pins for the win. There is one match ongoing. Nicole Trudell looks like she's throwing the final shots down on 11 and 12, and that will do it for your round 2 coverage of the U.S. Women's Open match play. Although I don't hear Tennille Milligan's voice yet, so I'm a little concerned. There it is. How about that? Once we hear Tennille, then that really means the round is over.
Ladies, please add up those score sheets, turn them into the tournament office for verification. Our athletes will return at 5 p.m. for their final 8 games of round-robin match play. Just want to say thank you all for joining us this morning, and we hope to see you at 5 o'clock for the conclusion of the 2017 U.S. Women's Open. But in the meantime, if you're just hanging about, don't forget to go down to our VIP lounge. All those Bowling Super fans, don't forget about the core tailgate experience happening now. They have free food, free drinks, and when I say drinks, I include beer down there. Free food and drink, and a chance to win some giveaways.
Free food and drink down at the core tailgate. Again, that is for those who are in the area. Appreciate you tuning in.
Talk to you about how to become a part of the core. And when you do become part of the core, you have a chance to win a free VIP seats to our television shows tomorrow.
So giveaways, free food, beverage, and a chance to win a couple giveaways and some seat upgrades as well. All right, folks. Well, again, officially, round 2 is in the books. Be sure to check pwba.com/live for all of the updated standings. Round 3 begins at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. Make your plans to be with us here on Extra Frame. So for everyone today, we had Chris Barnes, and I think that was it. I think. Nonetheless, great day. A couple 300s already. For everyone involved, my name is Emil Williams Jr. We will see you at 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern. This has been a presentation of the 2017 U.S. Women's Open. You watched it live, Bowl TV on Extra Frame.